In today's video, we're heading out to one of my favorite spots to go in Colorado. Well, actually, it's an entire county. I'm talking about Boulder County. And if there's one thing I've learned about this area, it's that it never fails to surprise me. Every trip I've made here has brought something unexpected, a surprise species or bird I never thought I would see that day. So let's get up there and let's see if we can continue this amazing streak of the Boulder surprise. To start our outing this morning, we walked around the area where we met at, which was the East Boulder Recreation Center. And here in these trees, which still had some fall colors hanging on, we saw the things that you would expect to see, like these black-capped chickadees. There were also some dark-eyed juncos flying around in there too. We did a quick walk around the pond and saw these northern shovelers, along with some mallards. And also present were two of our more common geese species, including Canada geese and these cackling geese. And our group leader Laura gave us a great rundown refresher on how to easily identify the difference between the two. When comparing to Canada geese, these cackling geese are a little bit smaller. In fact, they're about 2/3 the size of a Canada goose. You can also see here on this side profile shot, the necks are a lot shorter and their bills are a lot sharper and stubbier. And also that drop from the top of their head down to the bill is much steeper than on Canada geese. So that's some good identifying tips for you if you're out looking at geese. For stop number 2, we made a brief visit to Lagerman Reservoir. As you can see in this video here, it was a long ways out there, so this location was definitely set up for our scopers in the group, which I have to admit, I'm starting to get a little bit of scope envy. We may have to look into remedying that situation next year at some point. The really great thing about Lagerman Reservoir is not only all of the birds that are usually there, but also in the fall and winter, the trail that goes around the west and southwest side is back open. That trail is normally closed during the spring because there's nesting osprey over there. So I was happy to get back here where I had a little bit more freedom to move around and see some of the birds. After seeing some eared grebes and these northern pintails, we did continue down that trail that was once closed, and it became Eagle Central as we saw this golden eagle flying off way out in the distance. And then I turned around not 2 minutes later, and at the top of this tree was our first bald eagle of the day. And then we got on the board with our first rare bird of the day in this long-billed dowitcher. And then to wrap up our time at Lagerman, this ferruginous hawk circled overhead as we made our way back to the parking lot to head on to our next location. As we pulled into location number 3, which was Dodd Reservoir, someone had seen a mystery heron back along the road, so that was our first spot, was to go investigate. We are walking for a potential heron of some kind. We're unsure what it actually is, though. It did not look like a gray blue, so let's see. Our mystery heron ended up being just a regular great blue heron, but I'm not mad about it. He's looking right at us. With the heron mystery solved, we then started looking at these cackling geese, and somebody in the group noticed an anomaly that I caught in this clip. I will let it play here, and we'll see if you guys at home can see the anomaly as well. Well, did you see it? Did you notice the anomaly? If you saw one of the geese actually had a white head, then congratulations, you got it. That is a cackling and snow goose hybrid, which is actually pretty rare. Well, it ended up being just a great blue heron. But hey, you never know. It was, some people thought that it could have been a green heron or a black-crowned night heron. Both would be pretty unexpected, but you never know until you actually go look. But yeah, great blue. Our last stop of the day was here at Boulder Reservoir, and again, it's another spot where a scope is the best way to see things. And as we were scanning, we ended up getting the surprise of the day. No, your eyes don't deceive you. That is indeed about 40 or so sandhill cranes just hanging out at Boulder Reservoir in November. Yeah, very unexpected sighting. And by far the best viewing of these cranes was through the scope. They were pretty far out there. Fortunately, we had multiple people in our group that day that had scopes, so everyone took turns looking through, getting some good looks, and this is the best that I could get with my camera, which I still think is pretty good. And yeah, it was just a great moment to end our trip. Okay, well, that was my birding trip. I guess that's been 2 or 3 weeks ago, up to Boulder County, to all of those reservoirs up there. A few of them I've been to before. Of course, Lagerman I go to pretty frequently. But there were some other spots like Dodd and Valmont that I had never really been before. So that was a fun trip, and of course, seeing the sandhill cranes at the end was so unexpected. Throughout the trip, we had kind of thought that the long-billed dowager that we saw at Lagerman, a late migrant to leave, we kind of was like, oh, that was definitely the find of the day. And then we got to Boulder there at the end at Boulder Reservoir, and our group leader, Laura, was kind of scanning with her scope, and I was kind of scanning with my camera to see what I could see, and she was like, oh, she's like, well, if you thought the long-billed dowager was a surprise, wait till you see what I have in scope right now. And I'm like, what? She's like, just look. And so I went and looked, and I was like, oh. I'm like, no way. And so everyone else came over and looked through, and we're like, wow, that was really cool to see those sandhill cranes, which I guess at the time I was like, what are they doing here? And now that I've sort of thought about it, and there were other sightings of sandhills that same weekend too. So I don't think it was, I think it was unusual, or lucky, I should say, for us to be able to just see them actually, on the ground. A lot of people just see them flying over as they're migrating through. So the fact that we actually got to see them hanging out there at Boulder Reservoir that day was really cool. So, yeah, that is the trip. I hope that you liked the video. I did just want to give an update on the feeder situation out back, because now, man, it is popping off. I've got tons of birds just in there throughout the day. I have remedied the squirrel situation for the most part. Someone has suggested filling the feeder with safflower seeds, which are, this stuff. So the squirrels don't really like safflower seeds as much. So I was like, yeah, I'll give that a shot. And yeah, that has worked really well. And there is now a second feeder. Oh no, what is going on? I bought a just traditional feeder that's not like a smart feeder to put down there as well. It is also squirrel proof. It's actually called the Squirrel Buster. And so the squirrels have not been able to get that either. And yeah, I've got a pretty steady stream of the usual things that you would expect at a home feeder. Like house finches are definitely the most prominent, and the black-capped chickadees are in there a lot too. I have had a couple of cool sightings. I had a spotted towhee on there one time. I had a pair of bush tits come through, which I was hoping to see. And I also noticed, I had a white-breasted nuthatch come by, which was cool. And up in the tree in my backyard, the other day I was looking and I just heard a little noise. And sure enough, I had a little downy woodpecker up in my box elder tree in my backyard. And I have never seen a woodpecker in my yard, so I'm not sure if it was attracted in by the feeder. I don't have any captures of it going to the feeder, but still, it has brought in a whole bunch of stuff that has never been in my backyard before. So it's been really cool. And I hope that you enjoyed the review video I did for that smart bird feeder. That was an unplanned sort of thing. I got reached out to by the company. It was like, yeah, would you review our smart bird feeder for your YouTube channel? And we'll send it to you for free. And I was like, I'm not really the feeder guy, you know? Like I was just like, I was worried that like I wouldn't be able to do a good enough job at it because what do I know about feeders? But then I thought about it and I was like, well, this is something that I've always wanted to eventually, you know, have in my backyard, is to get a feeder and see what kind of birds I could get back there. And so I kind of was like, you know what? Actually, I will do it. And we'll make the video not only about the review, but also to go through the steps that I went through to get these feeders up and going. So thank you for anyone who did check that out. I know that's definitely not like a usual kind of video we have here, but it was really fun and a cool process to go through. And yeah, we're thriving now with the feeder. So anyways, that is the update on that feeder situation and how that whole thing came around. So again, thank you for anyone who checked it out. That's all I got for you guys this weekend, but I am hard at work editing the Bighorn Rut video that I'm going to put out. It is it's awesome. It is very ruddy, I will say. So anyways, I'm hoping to have that out on Thanksgiving morning. So I've got a lot of work to do to get that ready for that day. So until then, I will see you guys hopefully in that video. Thanks so much for watching. See you next one. Bye.